Some musicians are virtuosos, learning the ins and outs of every aspect of their instrument. Others are do-it-all handymen, not tied down to any genre or label. However, on a quiet road in Ferdinand, Indiana, you'll find Ray Majors. And well, he's just a bit of both.
I'm at my worst in front of a mic. But fortunately, I found this music where we play strolling restaurant gigs and strolling art fairs and beer gardens at German fests, where we walk around and play for people right at their tables.
If you've been to any sort of festival in the tri-state over the years, you may recognize Ray's signature mustache. But most likely you'll recognize the music he plays and the passion he brings with it. To put Ray Majors in any category of stereotypical musician is pretty hard. It's best said that Ray is, well, Ray.
When I was 6 years old, or 7, my folks got a little TV, and there were television variety shows. Some variety program, and the curtain came open, and there was János Starker, the famous Hungarian cellist. My dad was a livestock trader, and we didn't know anything to speak of about classical music. My mother was from Cincinnati. She heard jazz when she was a kid, but classical music wasn't part of it. And this guy was playing this wonderful music on this cello. It's an instrument I didn't even know what it was. And I said, man, that's great, but probably to do that, you have to be a little old bald guy from Eastern Europe. American farm kids couldn't possibly learn how to do that. But that's the first thing I saw that struck me.
This early exposure gave Ray the passion for music. But it was listening to the radio that got him playing.
You'd hear Peter, Paul, and Mary, and the Limelighters and the Brothers Four, and that's what passed for folk music. And I was cruising around the radio dial, and I came upon WPFB in Middletown, Ohio. It was Moon Mullins and the Boys from Indiana, which was a well-known early bluegrass band of the same vintage as Monroe and Flatt and Scruggs. And the very first thing that I heard, he said, this is Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs and the Foggy Mountain Boys doing my time. But this music had such immense drive to it, you know, not just Scruggs' banjo, the whole band, man, it just ticked like a clock. And I said, whoa, that ain't how Pete Seeger sounds. I don't know if that's folk music or what that is. So I got listening to Moon Mullins.
You could say that Ray found his calling, learning all the essential instruments of bluegrass: fiddle, guitar, and banjo. But it was a different type of inspiration that forced Ray to rethink his playing.
I was out behind the barn with a belt sander sanding a bunch of old lumber that I was going to use for some paneling in a kitchen. And I'm a pretty good carpenter, and I got good sense, and I have worked with hand tools or electric tools lots to know, power tools, that you always unplug them if you're going to change the bit or change the belt.
Unfortunately, he hadn't.
You know, I hit the trigger and this thumb got sucked into the belt sander.
The damage to his finger was done. Doctors believed feeling to his thumb would never come back. But like a bluegrass Tony Iommi, Ray took the opportunity to find his own way.
So there was a year or so, couldn't play any string instruments. I got a harmonica. I always had one, but I never fooled with it much, and I played it everywhere all the time. The car radio didn't come on at all. I'll go down the road like this. Going down the road.
The harmonica has become second nature to Ray. Sit with him long enough, and it's almost as if the instrument is an extension of his personality. Songs once meant for fiddle were now played on the harmonica.
So I learned from fiddle players. I learned you play melodies, complex melodies, you know. Now every note there is fixed in advance. I'm not improvising. It's not jammed. It's a melody that you learn and play. You know, so I came up playing music like that.
Ray still fiddles with the instruments he's learned. In a perfect world, he is a world-renowned jazz fiddle player. But it's the harmonica that he really excels at. Though if you ask him about his playing, he will give you a good idea of how he feels about it.
Went down to Clarksville, Tennessee to this contest, and there were 18 entries. And I got up, and I heard these guys playing. Oh man, I can play. And I got up and played my part. And when it was over, I'd finished 17th in the contest, just behind an 85-year-old man who they wheeled out in a wheelchair. He finished right ahead of me. There was 10-year-old kids, 12-year-old kids that beat me. And the guy who finished last got so drunk trying to get his courage up that he fell off the stage. So, there you go.
Always keeping his feet on the ground and maybe a few hairs in the sky. Ray is most definitely Ray, a skilled musician who has a deep love for his craft.